The story we're delving into today unfolds during the 1960s and 70s, a period when America was plagued by one of the most terrifying criminals in its history. Hollywood, the heart of America's film industry, had never encountered a crime so horrifying before. The world, including Hollywood, shuddered at the mere mention of this man's name.
Finally, after 2 decades, Charles Manson remains an enigma. Outlaw, cult leader, convicted murderer, he is the man who most terrorized Hollywood. People look at you.
This individual believed in an imminent race war between whites and blacks, a conflict that would claim countless lives. He thought his followers would hide in a cave until the war concluded, and once everyone else perished, they would emerge and take over the world. This bizarre belief took root in the mind of Charles Manson. Charles Manson, who passed away at 83, spent over half his life in prisons or reformatories. Although many criminals existed, like Manson was infamous for his declaration that he committed or ordered murders simply to shock the world. His aspirations extended beyond criminality. He wanted to become a rock star, achieving fame in music, and dreamed of being revered as a godlike figure, worshipped by others. He formed what became known as the Manson Family, a group mostly composed of teenagers, both male and female, under 20. These youths were disillusioned with their lives and homes, and Manson offered them a sense of belonging. Drugs were rampant, and open relationships were encouraged. Manson exploited this freedom to recruit more young people into his family. His charm and manipulative nature allowed him to brainwash these youths, making them believe in his radical ideology. From the start, Manson's life was steeped in crime. Born in Cincinnati, his young mother gave him up for adoption. After a troubled childhood marked by instability and neglect, Manson began committing crimes at age 12. By 13, he had stolen his first weapon, landing him in a juvenile detention center. Over time, Manson was frequently imprisoned for petty crimes like theft and drug dealing. In 1967, after a long stint in prison, he was released. During his incarceration, he learned to play guitar and became obsessed with becoming a successful musician, believing he could surpass Hollywood's famous musicians and dominate the music scene. Upon his release in 1967, Manson began gathering people around him, mostly hippies, to form his family. He sought to create a following of like-minded individuals, using his music to draw them in. He also developed a severe drug addiction, and as his group expanded, so did his ambitions. He befriended a prominent Hollywood music director who fell for Manson's manipulative charm. Manson's first album, though popular mainly among his followers, was a reflection of his delusional grandeur. However, his dreams of fame in the entertainment industry didn't materialize as he had hoped. Several big names in Hollywood, including music directors, rejected his proposals, which deeply angered Manson. He began preaching about an impending race war, claiming that blacks would initiate a crime wave that would engulf America and the world. He told his followers that when the war erupted, they should hide in caves, and after it ended, they would emerge to rule the world. As this prophecy failed to come to fruition, Manson grew increasingly frustrated, fearing his followers might lose faith in him. To maintain their loyalty and push forward his apocalyptic vision, he decided to orchestrate a crime so shocking that it would capture the world's attention. He instructed his followers, mainly young women, to carry out murders that would horrify the public. The most infamous of these murders was that of actress Sharon Tate. Tate, the wife of director Roman Polanski, was 26 years old and 8.5 months pregnant. On the night of August 8, 1969, while Polanski was in London working on a film, Tate invited friends over for dinner. That night, 4 of Manson's followers, 3 of whom were women, broke into her home. Armed with knives and guns, they brutally murdered Tate and 4 others inside the house. Tate pleaded for her life, begging them to spare her because she was pregnant, but her pleas were ignored. After killing her, they scrawled the word pigs in her blood on the door, referencing Manson's belief that those who rejected his ideology were pigs, and thus enemies. The following night, on August 9th, the same group murdered wealthy businessman Tate-LaBianca and his wife Rosemary in a similarly brutal manner. They left a similar message written in blood at the crime scene. For months, the police had no solid leads. However, 6 months after the murders, 2 of Manson's followers were arrested for an unrelated crime, and during questioning, they confessed to their involvement in the killings. One of the women became a key witness, leading to Manson's arrest and the eventual trial. Manson was charged with 7 murders, and during the trial, it was revealed that he had orchestrated the killings to ignite the race war he had long prophesied. He believed that the murder's publicity would spark racial tensions, but his plan failed. Even after his conviction, Manson continued to claim he would one day rule the world. Although Manson and 3 of his followers were sentenced to death, their sentences were later reduced to life imprisonment when California abolished the death penalty. Manson spent the rest of his life in prison, where he remained a figure of infamy. In 2014, at age 80, Manson made headlines once again when a 26-year-old woman declared her intention to marry him. Despite his notorious past and advanced age, the courts issued a marriage license. However, the marriage never occurred. Charles Manson died in prison in 2017, leaving behind a chilling legacy that continues to haunt America. His twisted beliefs and gruesome crimes shocked the world, and his story remains one of the darkest chapters in Hollywood's history.